A reading from 1 Corinthians. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. A reading from the Gospel of Mark. One of the scribes came near and heard them disputing with one another, and seeing that he answered them well, he asked him, "Which commandment is the first of all?" Jesus answered, "The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." God of surprises, your love for us is boundless. Bless my words, bless the meditations and reflections of our hearts and minds, and may we hear your message and respond with hope and courage. Amen. Today's readings are all about love. Our love for God and our love for neighbor. They call us to consider our words and actions in the place of love in our lives. Although we have many words in the English language, there are times when words are not nuanced enough to allow different meanings. Love is one such word. The same word is used to describe love of material objects. For example, I love my car, or I love your dress, as to describe the love that we have for other people. No distinction or notion of degree is indicated. Obviously, we should love our spouse more than we love our car or someone else's new dress. In ancient Greece, there were 6 types of love. And the New Testament is written in the Greek language, so these different words are used, but all translated into English as love. There's eros, sexual passion, valued in our society, but the Greeks didn't always think that it was a positive thing, for such love is irrational and could be dangerous. Philia, deep friendship, camaraderie. It comes from the military, where there were brothers in arms fighting side by side on the battlefield, and is used to describe loyalty and sacrifice. Ludus, playful love, affection between children or young lovers, flirting and teasing. Agape, selfless love. Love extended to all people, whether family members or strangers. This is the highest form of love. Pragma, long-standing love, mature love, deep understanding between long-married couples, about making compromises and showing patience and tolerance, standing in love rather than falling in love. And finally, philanthia, or love of oneself. 2 types. One, narcissism, is unhealthy. The other form, a healthy version of loving ourselves, having compassion upon ourselves, and feeling secure in who we are. Able to reach out to others because we have this base of love. So there are many different kinds of love to describe various relationships that we have with different people. So what is Paul talking about as he writes to the Corinthians? He's talking about agape, that love that Jesus exhibited, which is for all people, friends, family, strangers. The church in Corinth was a church in conflict. Paul urges the church to speak with one voice and to preach the Christian doctrine which they had been taught. Competition between leaders and conflicting messages led to several people writing to Paul or letting Paul know that things were not well in Corinth. And of course, there was the age-old problem of a return to pagan beliefs and habits. In chapter 6, Paul warns against immorality, idolatry, thievery, drunkenness, slandering, swindling, and adultery. He speaks about himself as a master builder who has laid a foundation for others to build upon, and he is trying to correct patterns of behavior to bring people back to what is true, what is right, to what the message he received and preached was about. In this passage, he is drawing attention to the difference between those who have love, who love, and those who do not. It is a subtle difference. For one may be eloquent in speech and charm the crowds, but without love as the basis of the speech, it is all just noise. Or one may have prophetic power and wisdom and knowledge and faith, but if love is missing, it is nothing. Finally, one may give everything away and hand over their body, but if done with the wrong motives in mind, nothing is gained. Paul will go on to describe what agape looks like. Such love is patient. It is kind. It is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. And it does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It is easy to speak of love and to believe that we are loving people, but it is hard to do the work of loving. It tries our patience and good humor. It calls us to pause and think about what kindness would look like in this situation. It keeps us humble, focused not on our own goodness or our own wants and needs, but on the other person and their wants and needs. Not what we think they are, but what they actually are. Love calls us to be generous, creative, selfless, to reach out to everyone, even those we would turn away from because they drive us crazy, or they scare us, or we are unsure of what the response may be to our reaching out to them. Yet this is the love we have been asked to live out. Jesus said to his followers, "Love one another as I have loved you." So we strive in our day-to-day lives to follow the great commandments laid down for us. To love the Lord our God with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, and all our strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. To do the hard work of loving one another in our world today. Amen.